Everyone, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. This is episode 81 of our Halls of Arden Vul Megadungeon crawl. The Halls of Arden Vul is by Richard Barton, and we're using the old school essential system, heavily house ruled by Necrotic Gnome. I am your referee for the evening. My name is John, and tonight we have...
Hi, I'm Mike. Tonight I am playing Lothar, the cleric of Odin, 5th level.
Hi, I'm David. I'm playing the 4th level magic user, Upior.
We would normally have Ted, but he is dead to us tonight.
Yeah, forget him. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt. I'm playing Wolfherd Cheek. He's a 4th level fighter. Damn it, leave me alone.
Nice. All right. In addition, we have 4 retainers as well. The entire retainer crew is with us. So we have Gangrene, Sam, Lisbeth, and the newest member, Barrios, the sheep-headed beastman. Recently freed.
Barrios.
Yes.
Why did I just now get that?
I didn't either. That's so good.
Oh, good job.
So
Mike.
it is the 11th of Genelenios. It is about 3:20 p.m. They have, in inimicable AV Club fashion, gotten thoroughly distracted from their primary mission and have decided to go through a secret door that they discovered in the fire portal room, where they were literally seconds away from teleporting directly to the Secret Library of Thoth. And they were like, nah, we're going to go through the secret door. And so they went through a secret door, and they discovered some pretty cool things. They found a long chamber that was guarded by animated guardians that had a Priscian face on the far eastern end, a face of Priscus Pulcher, quite large, about 8 feet tall. And on either side of that face were 2 doors. One of the doors went down into darkness, and one went up. And they went up, and they discovered some interesting things. However, I do need to retcon a few things because I made some mistakes. So, actually, let's take care of business real quick first with the PCs. I need to know spell selections for Lothar, Upior, and Lisbeth, I believe, are our 3 spellcasters. So, Lothar, Why don't you start?
So I still have memorized the same ones, John. It is going to be light, silence, 15-foot radius, and hold person. I also had Cure Light Wounds memorized, but I used it in the battle with Neferet.
Okay, cool. And Upior? You're muted.
Thank you. Upior has Marionette and Phantom Armor memorized in the 1st level slots, and Knock and Levitate in the 2nd level slots.
Cool. And Lisbeth?
And Lisbeth is loaded. She's got invisibility to animals and locate plant or animal as her level 1 spells. She has Cure Light Wounds and Obscuring Mist loaded as her level 2s. For level 3, she has protection from poison and hold animal. And her level 4 spell, Dispel Magic, she has spent. She spent that trying to cure Mort of his blindness. It didn't work.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. Guys are loaded for bear. All right. So, retcon. First of all, the I had described when you first entered this chamber and the stairways and all that sort of stuff as being full of dust, like it had never been entered before in some time. I made a big point about that, and I was completely and utterly wrong. And it's very important that you understand this, is that despite the fact that this was a secret door in the fire portal room, which you're fairly confident not a lot of people have gone in it, for some time. Once you emerge into the main chamber itself with the guardians, that is actually quite clear of dust, and there's evidence, footprints going both up and down those staircases, and definitely signs of people having walked through this chamber in the recent past. Okay, so it's the exact opposite of Long Forgotten.
Oh,
okay.
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 In addition, I should make a note that the stone guardians that were attacking you but were being fended off by the bones of Yakin the Proud, they are carved to look like humans. They Archontians, ancient Archontians with the Egyptian kilts and all that sort of stuff. But their heads are human, and they were wearing the tall cylindrical hats. Carved out of stone, obviously. But this is different than the statues that were animated in nearby up a level in Plunger Town that you use your symbols to get past frequently.
Okay.
Those were
I
ibis
was wondering why that didn't work. Yeah. Okay.
Those were ibis headed. Okay. To be clear. And another big one that is just a complete misread on my part, but is very important is I believe that Wolford is the one that reached the top of the stairs and actually took a look around in what was actually up at the top there. And I described that there was a staircase with sunlight coming in. That is not the case. Okay, there is no staircase. I am going to say that you can hear the sounds of the outside from where you are. So I'm not going to take away like obviously you as a player know that you're near the surface, but I'm just going to say like you can kind of hear sounds of outside kind of filtering through. But the room itself is a 20-foot by 20-foot square, rather small, and the only thing in the room is the door that you came through. Now on the other side is that blue knot, okay, which sort of looks like an abstract sort of Celtic knot sort of thing, but that's the only thing there. However, there is a archway that leads out of the room that you're in towards the south. Okay. That leads into another chamber.
The stairs that we came up and the door that we opened, where is that in that room?
It's on the eastern wall.
Okay. So we came in the eastern wall. Go ahead, Mike.
There's no curve to the staircase though, John, right? Like it leads directly up to the blank wall. You open it up and then that's on the eastern part of that wall. Or is it like curve?
There's multiple landings that you had to go around. So it sort of spiraled up. Not a circular spiral.
It's not a straight staircase. Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right.
So I'm going to, sorry.
You don't need to draw the basement that you're in. But the key thing to know is that from the chamber with the stone guardians, it was a 350-foot ascent through multiple landings, all the way up to where you are now. Okay. But I should be clear that Wolford is the only person in the room. I can't remember if Gangrene was with you, because wasn't Gangrene carrying the?
Well, I think that we all came up there. He was just ahead, opening the door, bravely, stupidly.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And just one thing to clarify: the Celtic blue knot imagery that you described. Mm-hmm. Last week, you described it as being on the inside of the door that he opened. So we opened it and looked and saw that on the inside, but it's not there. Is it on somewhere else in the room, or is it on the door?
It's still there. That's still there. That's what I'm saying.
On the door.
On the door, yeah. And it
cool.
looks to be recent and it looks to be painted.
Huh.
John,
okay.
Can I pull like out of Laryl's sack let's see, there's 8 of us, right? Can I pull, doing the math here in my head, can I pull 16 feet of thick blue cord out of the sack?
Not blue cord, but you can pull rope.
I can't pull like blue ribbon or something like that out.
You can pull a ribbon, sure.
Can it be blue?
Sure.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to try and cut like 2-foot lengths of that 16-foot length. Mm-hmm. And I want to try and duplicate the knot. And then you tie it around. It's like a headband and give that to everybody. Like do that for everybody in the party and see if that gets us past the Guardians.
Okay, cool. It looks a little strange. I will say we'll take a turn to construct all that. You okay with it?
Yeah. And then I'm carrying so much junk. I'd like to, Wolford, will you carry Laryl's sack from now on?
You want me to carry this thing?
It's magic. I think you know how to use it.
He's a fighter now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know, John.
Sure. If you don't want to carry the stupid bag, I'll carry it.
Yeah, I just for background, I mean, Matt, you're just so good at damn Larry'll sack stuff, so I'd rather have you have that than me.
I think you were doing just fine with that, Mike.
I misspoke. We started at 3:50 p.m. So with the turn of making the headbands, it's now 4 p.m.
Okay.
I've one before we get going full force. One point of order that I can't remember. We discussed on our Discord, but I had never, I don't think explicitly said that I took the ISO stuff off of my Saphai's corpse and put it on Upior's. That was the intent.
I thought you did.
I thought I did, but I didn't have it on my sheet. We can forestall that till we're on a downtime thing if you want. I'm not trying to be sneaky about it.
No, Ted recovered a lot of it.
He recovered it all, but I don't know if we ever explicitly said. But it's a number of unencumbering items and ISO's dagger, essentially.
Yeah. I would just say just take it.
I'm going to add them to my sheet if that's okay. But
I don't think that's a problem.
On there. Okay, cool.
Go. Okay. I would like to try and at least figure out where we are in the ruins, guys.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So, John, there's no light in this basement room, right?
There is no light. That's correct. Someone had a torch lit. Oh, no, it was Gangrene's lantern is what I have down here, and I have it marked for time. You have spent almost 0 time in the room. I'm going to assume that the headbands were made outside in the staircase.
Yeah, I think so.
Just be aware there has been the only thing that Wolford saw of note was that knot. Relate it back to Lothar, and Lothar made the things.
Okay.
And the footprints that we've seen in the dust, have we been able to tell, like, are these human footprints? Are they distinct in any way? Or is it just like obvious that there's been travel?
I'm going to say that it's more, you can't really tell. And it's not like there's dust with footprints through them. It's just more that the rooms are free of dust. And it just looks like they've been well trammeled, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. So there's just evidence that there's been movement, you know?
Okay. All right. So you want to just take a quick look around this room here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. John. So
before
John,
we step out into it, John, can we? I'm sorry, Matt. So before we step out into the room, though, can we just do our tap, tap, tap on the floor, or look for tripwires, or anything like that before we step into the room?
Well, Wolford's already stepped in, but he's all he's done is stepped.
Yeah. You are the mine detector. Go, Wolford, go.
And Brave, So he'll take a look around. And Mike, we're on the same wavelength. He is he's in the room, but he is looking around carefully to see. You mentioned that there was an archway to the south. Is that does it open into a hallway? Does it go beyond? How far does that go?
Are you taking the lantern from Gangrene?
Well, Gangrene, come in and hold. I need my hands so I can use my weapons if I need to.
Right away, boys. Coming in. What we got here, a little bit of the wet work.
And he kind of shines his light around.
And he said, what was that?
And he kind of turns his lantern towards the archway. He said,
I could have sworn I see something shuffle by the archway there, boys. Yeah, something smells too. Something bad.
and when you kind of put your nose to it, you can, probably not as strong as Gangrene's ability, but you can definitely smell something bad and rotting coming from that archway.
Okay.
And when you get really quiet, you can hear just a real low, like in the distance, you could just hear like a, like a voiced moan.
All right. Shh. It's just back it up. Let's just back it up. He backs up. Let's close that door.
Let me in him, boss. We can take him. There's 8 of us.
Yeah. Well,
he's right.
You want to? It sounds like we might need a little bit of your hoodoo woodoo. You ready to do that?
I ain't got it in me, boss.
Oh, I was talking to the
Gangrene Go Scout.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm speaking out of turn.
One-eyed guy back there.
You saying Gangrene?
I'd tell Lothar, come on, Lothar, get ready. Sounds like there's some turning up ahead.
Upior, what are you doing?
Mapping the minute you tell me to start mapping. But aside from that, I'm standing in the back and waiting.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're sitting in Gangrene?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wolford will back him up. Lothar, are you close by?
Mike?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Down. I will follow right behind Gangrene with my holy symbol out and my shield in my other hand.
Okay. All right. So Lothar and Gangrene, I guess, go forward.
We need somebody else to bring the...
Wolford's there too.
Okay. All right, so the three of you peer into the through the archway into another room. This room is massive. You can't see the far end of it, so at least goes at least 30 feet. What did I say? Southwards, yeah, southwards. And you actually can't see the width of it either. So it's quite large. You just sort of like your light just sort of illuminates a section of the room. But you can see that it illuminates a couple of very heavy stone pillars, which are supporting a ceiling, which is crumbled, like a lot of it's crumbling and decaying. Here, you actually do see a ruined staircase that is wide, but only serviceable. Like it doesn't look like it's meant to be like a grand, it looks like it's meant to access a basement, but for a number of people at the same time. And it goes up, but it is not exposed to the air, like I said last session. So it sort of goes up, but you don't know where it leads. So it's still dark in here. And you can see that in your little circle of light there's 30 foot radius, that there is ancient debris is scattered pretty much everywhere. Bits of leather, some rotted sacks, some desiccated food items. Looks like to be some casks of wine that likely have turned to vinegar, some broken tools, things like that, like a fully stocked basement from a long time ago, right? You do notice, however, that the ground, despite the fact that there is debris on it, has been cleared to form a certain, like a pathway that basically leads from where you're standing now directly south, like continuing south into the darkness. And there is definitely signs of people having passed through here. In addition, you see slow, slouched, moving humanoid forms, like sort of off in the distance, like right beyond your lantern light, and you can hear multiple moans coming from the darkness. Gangrene reports back to you guys in a low whisper. He's like,
I can see him, boss. They're real cold, but I can see him moving. There's a lot of them moving slow. Looks to be about 8. They're moving in. They're coming closer.
I don't like the sound of those numbers, kids. I think backing up is the smartest thing to do. Stayed alive a long time avoiding things like this.
The
seems
moans
like
are getting louder.
Oh, brains.
Can't hear you, Mike.
Can't hear you, Mike.
You're muted.
Mike is just
He's still talking.
mouthing away.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna ride the lightning here a little bit and just Gangrene and I are gonna just see what's going on, what's coming into the torchlight.
Okay, so you wait with your weapons out, and you can see entering into your torchlight about 30 feet away from multiple directions appears to be 8 desiccated, dry zombies sort of slouch into the room. They all appear to be wearing the remnants, if anything at all, of tattered servants' clothing from back in the Arcontian Empire's time. Both male and female. None of them are armed, but their hands are clawed and yellowed nails, and they focus.
When you say servants, do you like a cook, or is there any like specific regalia,
like staff, of an estate?
Yeah,
at least one bow tie. I'm hoping.
Well, if we're gonna fight him, let's fight him. Mike, that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and turn them, John, as soon as I'm able to.
Okay.
And then, guys, I don't know if maybe this is part of the detox, but I still think that evil pillar is causing all these undead, all these rando people to just turn into undead, right? Anyway, discussion for another time.
All right, so Gangrene and Wolfherd will protect you while you're doing your turn. We should bring Sam up too. She's good with hers.
She'll come to the front. Mm-hmm.
So you basically shout out that there's zombies in this room, right? So everyone's sort of aware. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So please, let's do declarations. So my guys are not going to declare anything. Do you? You're declaring turn undead. Anyone else declaring spells? Nope. Okay. Roll for initiative, please.
Who's got it?
I got a 5.
You wanted to fight him, Mike. You do it.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. Zombies always lose
Always go
initiative.
last. Okay. That's
Um,
good because I rolled a 2.
Good. I would have won if they were fast, but they're not. So it is your turn. They are all basically 30 feet away, but they're kind of coming at you from 3 sides. Like your back is up against like the archway, right? But they're coming in from all other sides around you. Okay.
Gotcha. So
How wide-
is turning like a cone or is it
It's
like
just-
everybody that can see it?
Any undead in your line of sight, basically.
Okay. Does turning go off first?
No. Well, whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna
Work it out amongst each other.
Okay.
You should turn first. And let's see. I don't have any. Let's see. Does Gangrene have? He doesn't have. He has his daggers ready, but
So do you want to see what happens with the turn undead first? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that first.
Roll it.
I got a 8.
An
I am
8.
a fifth level cleric.
Okay. All right. So roll 2d6 again, please.
I got a 5.
5. Okay. So 2 of them, you hold forth your symbol of Odin. 2 of them turn right back around and slowly shuffle off into the darkness towards the south, but 6 others continue on towards you.
I was kind of hoping that we'd have a little bit of a undead explosion there, but I guess the dice are not with me.
Okay. Sometimes.
Oh, wait. Wait.
sometimes not.
I may have made a mistake. You're 5th level.
Yeah. I like destroy things up to like 2+ hit die kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Actually, I was on the wrong line. Give me 1 second. I just got to reread. Yeah. Okay. So you still affect the same amount. But they actually do explode. So 2 of them actually just like in the light of your holy symbol,
Nice.
and you hear them
Nice.
their body parts pitter patter in the darkness.
Okay.
I think Sam will follow that with an attack with Set's Bane. Does that make
Okay.
sense, guys? So I will roll to hit.
Set's Bane.
David rolls a melee attack. This is maybe one of 2. And
Do you have the full readout for Set's Bane?
yeah, +4 to attack. 1d8 plus 4 damage.
It's only +4.
It has
against
staggered
set
damage. Yeah.
boost.
So what?
You
I can't
both
remember
just talked- what was that? Sorry.
It has.
It's a +1 spear. It's +2 against like evil people, +3 versus like set worshippers, and +4 versus like set priests.
There's no specific undead bonus. So I have a +2 to hit and I have a +1 from the weapon. So that'd be a +3. And I guess, that would mean it's no evil clerics.
Yep. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So it'd be a +3 to hit. So I'll roll.
All right. AC you're looking for is a
16, actually a 19 actually. So that's a 22.
yeah. AC is 11.
So I hit. I do a D8. Find my D8. All right. Roll 2, take the highest. Well, that was a 6. A 6. So I have a 6 +4. So it's 10 damage.
10 damage. All right. So this was a halberd, right? Set's Bane?
Yes.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do a big sweeping arch as Sam races up. And is this the first time Sam's killed anything? Like in
I
a
probably
long time, right?
a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it's my first time she's swung Set's Bane, frankly. Anyways, if she did before, it was a long time ago. Anyway, she swings with a sweeping arc and decapitates that zombie.
Oh. We love to see
Okay.
it.
Of course, the
Not
other zombies
bad.
don't react at all, but keep coming.
All right. So Wolford will, with his frog catcher in one hand, his Gladius Ignis in the other,
Mhm.
he's going to run and feint with the spear and attack with the Gladius.
Very good.
Which is a 17 to hit, so that'll hit. And 1d10 plus 2 damage. Okay, that is 10 points damage plus 2, so 12 points of damage.
Very good. How does the flame work with that? Do we know? I can't remember now.
That is, he has not ignited.
We never
So-
identified it.
Yeah. No, we figured out that when you say the Ignis word, that it adds
D6,
1d6 of fire, but
Right,
he
but
did
it-
not activate it.
Got it. Okay, cool. However, as you feint with the spear, the zombie, of course, doesn't understand what a feint is, but
Yeah.
he's still caught totally unaware by the gladius that gets shoved up underneath his rib cage, and he also collapses onto your blade and slides off.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna test Barrios out tonight. Oh, go ahead.
No. I took one. You take one.
Are you still going, Matt?
Gangrene has to go, but you
Barrios
go
is
first.
gonna. Okay, Barrios is gonna go ahead and swing at one. I hit AC 13 and I do 7 points of damage with a
Appropriate.
blunt warhammer.
With a
With a
warhammer.
warhammer.
Okay, so you can hear soft tissue completely just collapse under the weight of your warhammer blow, but it still keeps grasping towards Barrios.
All right. So Gangrene will attack the. Gangrene will attack the same one. He's got 2 daggers, so he'll attack with both of them.
Okay.
Okay. That is natural 20, so that will definitely hit.
Okay.
And he rolls a 1d6 plus 1.
What's he attacking with?
Daggers.
Daggers. Okay.
Yep. And that is 4 points of damage to the one that Barrios was just hurt.
Okay, so he slips up to the side of Barrios and lunges at the wounded zombie, plunging his dagger hilt deep into its eye socket, and it collapses. 2 more left.
Lisbeth staying behind everyone. She's going to pull out Yakin's bones and make sure that she's behind, but will stay within the radius so that
Got it.
everybody's protected.
Okay. Whoa. Praise
2
the
left.
Mhm.
Anyone else other than Upior
Don't think
waiting
so.
to do? I guess I don't really want to engage in melee because I have 10 AC, but I do have Oculus. And I mean, muscle mage has to get himself killed the first time he tries to use a melee weapon, right?
Oh,
I think
no.
that's how this works.
No.
Having said that, let me open up Ren's old character sheet to make sure I have the stats on Oculus, but I'm going to attack. Why not? Let's see.
You might as well
So
roll
the
the
last
20
time-
sider just to see if it's worth it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So I'll roll a 20-sider. That is 4, so it's not.
Well, they have an 11 AC. Are you sure?
Oh, true. Okay, well, hold on. Let me open up Ren's old. This last time I had Oculus.
Oh, you have a 4. Yeah, so you're strong though,
At
right?
4, and I it's a Oculus is +2, so that would be a 5, 6, and I have a 17 strength. It'd be an 8 still. Not
Okay.
gonna hit.
Yeah, not going to
Good
work.
to know,
So you trip a little bit unholstering Oculus. You're not quite used to the heaviness and personality of that blade, actually. So you swing wide, but you are face to face with one as you step up into melee. Bottom of the round, they finally get to attack. There's one that is free and one that is on Upior. Upior, your AC is 10? Yeah.
Dying now.
Well, remember, John. He gets his attack gets a -1
-1 because of
from
Yakin,
Yakin's bone.
yeah. He still hits though. So he claws at you, Upior. Only for 1 damage though, as you quickly back away. So it's actually more from your shortness of breath that you take a hit point damage. There's one free one though. So will be equal opportunity. Everyone is engaged, correct? Is that right? No, except for Elizabeth.
Lothar
Yeah,
is not
Elizabeth is
engaged
behind.
either.
Oh, yeah, Lothar and Elizabeth are not engaged, so I'm going to do D6. Lower numbers will be the PCs. It is a lower number, so that is going to be Wolfherd. AC Wolfherd?
Wolfherd's AC is 16.
Not a hit as it scrapes off of your armor. Top of the round, everyone is engaged, so spells and melee movement declarations. I just need to know if you plan on doing
Lothar
it.
is still not engaged.
Okay. Spells?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
No one?
Elizabeth is not casting spell.
Everyone remaining engaged in combat. No melee movement. Okay.
Yes.
Roll for initiative,
Yes.
please. I got a 6. Oh, wait. Never mind. They always lose. It's you first.
We
Go
win.
for it. Upior, why don't you go
I
first?
didn't move. That's why I
Upior,
didn't
you're
move.
the only one engaged right now, so why don't we go with you first?
Yeah, can I try for it again? All right, so through this time, that is a 9 plus my 4, which would be 13.
Yep.
And the damage is, I actually don't know the damage of Oculus.
It's a D4, bro.
D4
you do
or
it.
magic user.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing my, sorry, guys.
My house rules make it so easy for you.
All right. And that is a 2.
But it's
Plus
deadly,
strength,
right? It's a
plus
two-handed
magic
sword.
bonus.
4 damage.
But it's deadly, right? Because it's a two-handed sword.
It is, so I roll again.
Yep.
Correct. Same, though. So 4 damage.
4?
Mhm.
Okay.
No, you rolled. Hold on. You rolled a 2.
Oh, my God.
You add 2
What I
for the
messed up.
magical sword
Yeah.
and your strength bonus.
So
It's a
5.
plus. Oculus is +2 to hit and damage. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Yeah. I know. I never do melee anymore. Oh, I'm making a real ass of myself in front of
Well, just
everybody.
tell me how
Hey,
much
guys.
is it? Is it 5?
It would be 6 damage then. Yeah.
Because you have +2 with strength. Is that correct?
I have +2 with strength, and it's a +2 sword, so it would be
6.
6 damage.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
but you rolled the same. You rolled the same thing for deadly, right?
I did. I rolled a 2 twice.
Okay, cool. All right. So, yeah, that's a mighty swing. And you shave off an arm, we'll say, with great fervor, but it continues to claw at you with its remaining arm. So there is one that's down pretty low. That's that Upior is being face to face with, and there's one that is attached to Wolford.
All right.
Lothar, do you mind if Lothar takes a swing, Matt?
No.
I'm gonna attack the one that's on David.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. I got a 7. I am out.
Okay. You swing but miss.
All right. So let's have Gangrene with his daggers try to protect Upior. He's going to take a stab.
Okay.
Dual
Does he
wielding
want-
daggers.
Does he want to try to push, like really step in so Upior is not a target anymore? Like push Upior away?
Well, he seems to be happy swinging that sword, so he's just going to engage with the same
With
zombie.
Upior.
that
Okay, got
he
it.
is.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was a 17 on the die, so an 18 to hit. So he'll hit.
Yep.
And let's see. 26 plus 1. Oh, that is 7 points of damage.
That'll do it. So Gangrene is just doing all the kill steals with his daggers. And he drops
Nice.
another one. So there's only the one remaining that has Wolford and Lothar attempting to find it, but somehow it's rather wily.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Wolford
Only one-
will. Sorry.
Please go ahead with Wolford. Yeah, I was just going to say only one
Yep.
more person. I'm going to rule can actually actively engage with that zombie.
Yeah, I think Wolford and Sam has reach, so she might be able to get there.
Okay.
But let's see if Wolford can take it down. Spear and Gladius. That's a 13 on the die, plus 4, 17. That's going to hit.
Okay.
1d10 plus 2, baby.
1d. Oh, did you go up a tier? You're doing 1d10
He's
now?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
He's a fighter level 4, so he went up a tier.
Awesome.
And that was an 8 on the die, plus 2. That's 10 points damage.
Okay, so from a fresh zombie, you immediately just what was this? Was this frog catcher? Or not frog? Yeah.
No, it was Ignis.
Ignis. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you decapitate it. Doosh. All right. Actually, you know what? I shorted us 2 zombies. I only had. That's okay. We'll say there were 6. Why not? All right. So
Well, the other 2 returned. They ran.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. I was like, why do I have 6 written down here? Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Cool. All right. So, yeah, amidst the blasted remains of Lothar's initial attack, and then you have a bunch of zombie parts at your feet. And we're talking about like you're basically like 15 feet into the room, really. So still, even at this point, you're not getting like a full-fledged view of how massive this room is. However, as you sort of catch your breath after that very satisfying and one-sided fight, you remember that your voices were echoing, like your blade strokes were, like it's very large. My point.
But it sounds still. We don't hear any other moaning or any other sounds in the room.
You don't from where you are right now. I'm just saying it's like just a little disconcerting because you can't see any walls except for right behind you, and it's an echoing chamber, right? And there are large stone pillars on either side of you, and you can kind of see at the very edge of your torchlight that those pillars sort of march down in pairs down the length of this chamber, at least for a little. Like I said, you can't really see that far, but large enough that the ceiling requires support. What do you do?
You're muted,
David, you're muted.
Do we want to continue exploring or turn around for the library?
I
Given
mean,
the scope.
yeah, I'm so conflicted because obviously this is very intriguing, and yet now that we know it's not just like a staircase that goes up to a basement with sunlight and birds and trees and flowers, like I feel like getting out might be a bigger deal. John, is there any like scent of fresh air coming in through here, or is there like you said we heard like outdoor sounds?
You do, and that's true. Yeah, you still kind of do hear that. Like, I don't know exactly what you would hear, but maybe it's more of a smell thing. Why don't we say it's a smell thing? So yeah, you can kind of smell what actually smells, and it's actually, smell like is like the most memory triggering sense. It almost brings a tear to your eye because you can smell the wetness of rain. Kind of slightly, in the air. It's mostly the smell of the zombies, to be honest. But again, you have not spent any time investigating or spending any time in this room except for fighting. By the way, a turn went by for the fight, so it's now 4:10 p.m.
What do you guys think? Like, I feel like this room is big. I mean, if we're smelling outdoors, we have to be very close. But I don't know how long it will take us to find that. And we are on a clock.
I think it's plausible that we are within a structure that is on the surface rather than subsurface, which is maybe why you're hearing this, but we are not on an external facing room. So we could be in like a giant chapel or in the Royal Exfire City ruins. We also know that a lot of lethal things exist in ruins, but there's no sign of windows or anything like that, which is really strange.
Yeah, correct. And it has been recently traveled.
Yeah. And it certainly didn't like show up at the steeple at the Broken Head. So we know that's not where this is coming out. It could be like, I mean, we don't need to speculate where. Suffice to say, I think we could, without investigating, quickly try to find one more room. But I don't think we should do room if we're concerned all the time with the library.
Do we want to like split the difference, peek up those stairs, look around, see if we see an out, and if we don't, call back?
Let's do it.
Fair enough.
Are the footprints going up those stairs, John?
There's no footprints really, but
clear, right?
That's actually true. That's a good thing to know. When you approach the stairway, it's wide as if it looks like it's meant for service by a large staff, so that you would be wide enough that one person could be going up at the same time that someone could be going down without having to like sidle, around each other too carefully. But when you approach the staircase, you can see that the staircase does appear to be rather dusty. Like whoever has traveled through here did not decide that it was worth checking out. Like, you know what I mean? Like that it's been left untouched.
So
my suspicion, guys, without going too deep into speculation, is considering the adjacency we have to the pyramid entrance and the nature of there being servants in this space, that this almost certainly has to be one of the two palatial buildings at the center of the river on the surface. I don't think there's any structure that would be big enough to have these like vaulted ceilings. Otherwise, I just don't know if we're going to pop out and have a acidic vine monster and golem to kill us immediately, right? I could be wrong, right? But that's my guess. And up might be to floor 2 rather than floor 1.
Gangrene. Whenever you
suggest. No, go ahead, John.
Real quick, when you get to another thing that you see, this could help you form your opinion here. When Gangrene comes up with his light lantern and illuminates what remains of the staircase, and he raises it up, you can see that it appears to be broken, like it's shattered, like it doesn't lead to anywhere.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, John, is it stone or wood? Sorry, Matt.
It's wood.
So I was just going to say, guys, these zombies feel like they were left here by somebody. They were guardians. So it could also be set priests who probably would have a penchant for making undead, right? So if anyone is trafficking through here, it might be like the Set Brotherhood.
Well, not only that, but somebody could be doing the same thing with these zombies that we've been doing with the cephalopods in that other room. Because they're slow moving. If we wanted to, we could just run by these things if we know where we were going to go and what we wanted to do. right? You don't have to fight them to go through this room because it's so
Not a
big.
bad idea. Do you want? None of us have dark vision though, right? Because Mort's
Well,
gone.
Gangrene does.
No, Gangrene does. Gangrene has.
Why don't we just send Gangrene on a run mission real quick? Sorry, Gangrene. You want to just run to the other side of the room as fast as you can, Gangrene? We've already made enough noise that we're not going to exceed the noise we've made by rushing. So I think we might as well just like, rather than be careful about it, just send Gangrene sprinting to try to see if there's another side of this.
Straight down the middle of the room.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as long as it's going to not make him feel sad about himself. You know?
Well, yeah, I don't want to. What I would say is like,
He's a retainer. He'll do what you want.
I'm not trying to endanger him. I'm trying to like talk it through with Gangrene. Like, it seems practical that like you can.
Well, you know I'm always up for a mission, boss. Especially if it's showing a little bit of the wet work.
All right. So
you want me to shout out what I found? You want me to return all quiet like?
I think go guys.
I like that quiet thing. Do a quick run around. Tell us what you see, particularly like exits in and out.
Right, boss.
Come back quiet.
Who wants my lantern then?
I'll take it. Hey, John, before we do that, can we do our first break? I just want to go say goodnight to my kids.
Sure. We will take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, we are back. Bladder's empty, beer's full. Okay, so you were sending Gangrene ahead to scout with his dark vision, correct? So he scouts out. Oh, I made a mistake. I realized during the break. It's hard to parse this keyed entry because it assumes that you're entering in from a certain other direction, and so it's like I have to read everything backwards. So the way that you actually, so when you entered the 20 foot by when you first entered into the basement area here, the 20 foot by 20 foot area that had the blue knot on the door, that seemed to be a completely encased room. Like there's no exits or entrances anywhere except for where you came from. However, Lothar is still wearing the iron circlet, correct?
Was I wearing it? Yes, I think I was because we found a secret door. So yes, I am. Yeah, we found a secret door.
So you do see that with wearing the iron circlet, that it does reveal that on the south wall there is actually a secret door. Okay. We'll say that you figured out the way to open it, which is actually inserting a small object into the ceiling right above the door, which opens up the secret door, and everything else is the same. But it's really important to realize that that this was a hidden secret room, yet it is just as well traveled as the room that you're in now, which is a much larger room, which looked like it was frequently accessed by staff back during the day. Okay, but the room that you exited out into from the staircase was completely secret. Okay, all right.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I realize this because looking ahead to see where Gangrene was going, he goes and then he comes back. He's being very careful, so I actually going to say that it takes a turn, and he says, "Oh, boss, it's much bigger than I thought. I wager it's about 100 feet long from here to there. It goes on and on and on. I looked ahead. There's an archway in the south wall there, and I could hear more of those moaning bastards over there in that new room down there to the south." I also saw something you guys might want to check out. There's a big plaster coat of arms or something on the western wall, right in the middle of the room that we're in right now.
Okay, so I do think it's plausible that the way that people enter and exit is the secret door, not that big doorway, since there's all these zombies. However, do we want to split the party and have one of us look at the door and the other look at the coat of arms? Or do we want to turn around? I don't know.
He says it's an archway too, so it is open. So if you do approach, there's a chance whatever's down there may spot you.
So let's not go there. Let's just go look at the secret door real quick. We know it's a coat of arms. I do want to know what coat of arms, but I think we can kind of infer enough. It says we need to know about the structure, I think, and probably confirms our suspicions. But if you guys disagree, let me know.
No, I think it's going to end up being the palace in the middle of the dungeon or the. Yeah.
Why don't we look at the secret door real quick and then turn around?
Okay. So marching as a group with the lantern down to the south, and then Gangrene sort of indicates that to your right, which is to the west. He says it's right over there, and you kind of march that direction, and you have to march 30 feet before you actually reach the wall. So if you assume that in the other direction it's the same amount, you're talking about a chamber that is 60 feet east to west, 100 feet north to south. So really big, like a massive chamber, all supported by pillars. So you pass by a set of pillars, then you get to the western wall. there is a plaster coat of arms which has been affixed, so it's completely 3D. That's been affixed to the western wall, and it features a coat of arms that you recognize, but you have yet to have seen anywhere in the ruins of Arden Vul, and that is the heraldry of the clan Briennios, which is one of the high noble families. We've kind of talked about Basilion, which is the ruling family, and then Julianos, which was their main rival, which had a lot of naval power. The Briennios clan, which is Briennios, were and still are. This is another one of those noble houses that stretched through time, right? An important imperial service clan, one that provided many bureaucrats and officers to the empire's functioning. Okay. The coat of arms is a set of fasces and an officer's baculus, which are tied together with a complex knot. So time for a little history lesson here, guys. If you go to Miro, and I'll switch it over for the people to see, and you zoom all the way out and you go up to our images up above the maps. If you go up to the top, I have a depiction of what a fasces and a baculus. Did you guys know what fasces were? I didn't know when I first read them. You ever heard that?
I mean, it sounds like feces, so I was wrong.
Sounds like facetious.
So a fasces is it's like a word that's similar to like scissors, where there is no singular version of it, right? It's always just a plural, fasces. And it's I read about it. Apparently, so it's what it is. It's a bundle of sticks that are bound together with an axe that usually protrudes from it, either double bladed or single bladed, and it is in tons of symbology. It all in iconography in the United States, especially. There's a whole bunch of it. So, but apparently it came from the Etruscan times, and then it went into Romans. Romans is where it kind of flourished. So it was a symbol of authority. It was also in Archontian times in our game as well, because it symbolized everything, all the tools you needed to mete out corporal and capital punishment. Corporal in the bundle of sticks where you would strike somebody, and of course the axe where you would decapitate them. So it basically was a symbol of imperial power, right? The power over the people. So and then I found out, interesting enough, because I was looking at the word, I'm like, what does that even mean? Fasces means it comes from. I think it comes from from a Latin term for bundle. That's where it basically comes from. But because it's been associated with power over your subjects, you can kind of see that the symbology was obviously adopted by Mussolini and by his party, and that's where we get the term fascism from. But take it easy, David. This is removed from the 20th century negative connotation of the term
fascism.
It is a symbol of authority in Archontian times. In addition, the baculus is a staff that is also a symbol of authority, which was carried often by priests or magistrates, and this dude here is carrying one. So it's a crossed fasces with a baculus, and it's tied with a knot. And when you look at that knot, even though it's not blue, it is exactly the same arrangement, abstract arrangement, as the knot on the door and the mosaic knots that were on the floor of that chamber from where you left.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
So it is known that all of you guys would know this, that during the civil war of the Sordians and the Theosos, that the Briennios clan were known for having highly placed advisors to the Archon of Arden Vul. Right, so that's what their role was here, anyways. Is a noble family, but they would often put their people they were like the power behind the throne, sort of thing. So the Briennios would sort of advise the Basilion clan, who was the ruling clan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Wow, I learned so much this session. This is great.
Well,
Okay.
I have some detox thoughts,
So that's the deal with that. So he said that though, almost about 50 feet away to the south, he said that there was another archway directly in the southern wall, and that he heard more moaning coming from that direction. He could also, he said that there was some sort of ambient light that he couldn't quite make out because he didn't want to get too close to the zombies. and that he could hear the sound of rain that was stronger in that direction.
Okay.
Took you to a turn to get there and observe.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
4:30.
All right. So guys, I mean, it's tempting to keep pushing until we see the out, but I think the out is pretty obvious on the other side of those zombies. I think those zombies can work for us now in offering some sort of obstacle, right? So I think that we do want to leave them. I think now's a good time to backtrack and try to get back onto our original goal of trying to hit the library. What do you guys think?
I agree. I do think the secret door is probably the primary entrance to anyone who knows, and they had the same thought we do, which is why it's so trafficked. I think the secret door probably goes outside, whether it goes directly or not. And the zombies are just a way of keeping those in the know safe, you know.
It would be phenomenal to ambush some pimps in here. I mean,
I agree. Yeah.
but just not now.
Not now.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Cool.
Okay.
So what's the plan?
So
Plan
I
is to
think we're
go
gonna-
back, John. See if go back down the stairs, go past the guardians, hit the fire portal room, and see if we can get into the library.
Okay, so you completely backtrack. Are you going to be careful on your backtrack, or are you going to go fast because it's known territory?
Fast.
Let's go fast in the stairwell, not fast through like any rooms that we have to go through.
Okay, if you say so.
No.
Okay, so backtracking quickly, it's only going to take a turn. So you run back down the stairs, burst out into the chamber, and the moment that you set foot into the chamber, all of the stone guardians, which were had reset themselves, ratchet into motion again, bring their spears to bear, and immediately start marching towards you.
Immediately,
Luna-
Elizabeth takes out. Yeah. I'm sorry. go
Sorry,
ahead.
I assume we had the Yakin's bones out before we even went into the room, but they don't seem to be responding at all to the blue corded knots that we're wearing.
They do not, apparently.
These guys suck.
They look nice, Mike. I'm very proud of you. You tied a really beautiful knot. I feel very fancy.
I think it's a good
Hold
idea.
on that.
idea.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're not going to investigating the stairs down, correct?
Not now.
How many turns have
Correct.
elapsed, roughly, John? Do you
Since the
mind?
start of the session,
Yeah.
you started at 350. It is now 440.
Okay, cool. So we spent an hour up there. That makes sense. Cool.
Okay,
Right.
so you make your way past them using Yakin's bones. They're hammering against the magical field that is surrounded you of protection, and you make your way through the secret door back into the fire portal room. Heat beats down upon you like a hammer. Just it's just and the fire genie's standing in the midst, barely visible, with its arms crossed, and it's with its wispy bottom half standing in the midst of the fire.
All
What
right.
do you do?
So we need to be very careful about the wording that we use when we talk to this thing, right? Because if we want to go behind that door that you described with the fear thing on it, thinking that there's a library behind there, we don't know for sure that's a library. So if you ask to go to a library, you may end up God knows where. So should we ask our fiery fella here if he can to teleport us to just the other side of that door? Or is that stupid? What do you guys think?
Well, I do think we should specify secret in our description of it because it was discussed as the secret library more than once. So I think that wording is like that's primacy. And then beyond that, yeah, I mean, you could be like teleport us to the secret, the other side of the entrance. The thing is, there could be so many entrances. So what does that mean? I don't know how we do. It's a good thought. I'm just trying to think it through it.
So what I was thinking was specify location and symbol. We can say teleport us on the other side of the door that has the rune that causes fear, that is down the hallway to the west from Thoth's library. I mean, that's pretty specific, and teleport us to the other side of that door.
I think it's a good thought. Workshopping. Suppose that the other side of that door is more dungeon and not the library. We've now put a bunch of dungeon, but we don't know, right? Like that's the thing, which is why I'm not sure that I would specify. I would want to specify the library, but I don't know how to marry your idea, because I think what you're saying makes sense. But I'm really worried the other side of that. There could be 12 more traps, right? There could be like trials on the way. I have no idea. Mm-hmm.
I'm also worried that if we just say take us to the secret library of Thoth, that we're just going to end up in the room that we've already been in like twice.
Well, it's not secret though. That's not secret. It's well known.
I mean, that's a nebulous.
That was described as a secret library of Thoth before we got there, right? It's secret to anybody who doesn't know about it.
I thought in the literature we read. Hold on, I got to check our.
Because
no, that was just called the Library of Thoth, I thought. And then specifically Isocrites was looking for the secret library.
Hey man, ride the lightning, David. Just go talk some shit to that genie. I think your secret library idea is fine. I think we're gonna get somewhere interesting.
Okay, I can't because I already used it.
Okay.
So one of you guys have to.
And who's not used it?
Well, we also have to think about this. Who's got the rug? Do we have both rugs? Because don't we need both rugs to be able to go
One
there?
rug is still in the stash room.
That's where it needs to be.
And in fact, yeah. And then the other egg's on Upior, unless you want someone else to hold it. Yeah.
Right. So, but only one person is going to go through the fire portal, so everybody else has to take the rug there. No.
No. It brings all of us in. That was something we worked out. Yeah, in a prior session.
Okay. Just
It
making
takes
sure.
everybody.
Cool.
And the retainers refuse. The retainers refuse to go in the fire pit.
Okay, so can we then say, retainers, will you go wait for us in the stash room?
No, let's bring them, dude. It'll transport them. It just.
Oh wait, it will. You mean? I'm sorry, I misunderstood
pit.
what John said.
Okay.
They refuse to go in the pit, but they will be. I see. Okay, yeah. I thought he said they couldn't.
So it needs to be Lothar or Wolfhard that talks to the guy.
Let's do it. Let's pull it. Lothar,
Go,
you want to
Wolfhard. You talk some smack to that genie, man.
Do it.
All right. Well, what did we decide? Ask him to go to the secret library of Thoth that we haven't been to yet.
You can try it. Why not? I mean, why not? I mean, we don't know what how omniscient this thing is. That's a good qualifier. Why not?
Right. So
I think that's
we
smart.
know there's a secret library of Thoth that we have not been to yet. We want to go to that.
Do that. Say that.
Wolford, you haven't been in the pit yet, have you?
No, and I hate the idea of going in there.
Okay, so what do you? It's really hot, like a huge bonfire of flame. What do you do?
All right, I'm tough as hell. I don't matter. And he so I say Thoth rules, right? Like that's the thing. Thoth rules. Those are the words.
Okay, immediately the heat dissipates, but the fires are still present. You step in.
Yes.
Okay. Thoth values your love. Do you wish to be cleansed or to be transported?
I want to be transported. I want to go to the secret library of Thoth that we have not gone to yet.
Okay. You are all transported. Give me one moment. I just have to jump to the page.
It's going to be library number 15 out of 80.
It's going to be flooded.
Oh, boy.
We're on fire.
It's been nice. It's been nice, guys.
Okay, so you find, so everyone teleports. The heat immediately disappears. First thing you do is you cough because there's a lot of dust. And you find yourself in a square chamber that is 30 feet by 30 feet. And you are standing in the midst of it. The chamber is actually relatively unremarkable in its construction. It only has an 8-foot ceiling. It's very, very tight here. No decorations at all. The walls, however, have been hollowed out to form book cabinets, in which there are a number of wooden shelves that carry the remnants of what appears to be a library. There is a wooden table in the center, which you guys are all arrayed around, which has 3 wooden chairs that are kind of tucked underneath the table. All of the wood is old and brittle, including the bookshelves themselves. It looks like very little weight would probably cause them to disintegrate, including the table. There is an unbound quire of 24 parchment folios that rest on the table itself. It looks to be all of like a unit, like a single work. And there is also a large, this is just from immediately popping into existence. You can kind of see so there's a quire with parchment folios, 24 of them. Underneath that on the same table is a large, it's like actually draped over the side of the table, a large, almost man-sized drawing of a skeleton on the central table. Which does some markings on that. Just briefly, I'm just telling you that real quick, but that with a brief look. And there is, there's a whole bunch of like written works of all different kinds of media in the bookshelves themselves are right around you. Otherwise, it looks relatively mundane, but it's very, very dusty.
Is there a way out? Is there a door?
There is actually a passageway out. So in the northeastern corner of the north wall, there is a 5-foot passageway that leads to the north.
Okay, so I got to map this. So I'm going to just throw it underneath the other library for now.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to catch up, find the Punchertown floor. So you said it was 30 by what?
30 by 30. There's a 5-foot wide passageway that leads out of the northeastern corner on the north wall.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I see. John, is it completely dark in here, or is there any light at all? Just what we brought.
It is completely dark.
Is there any sign of or sense of movement? I remember in the other library there were the little baby baboons that were crawling around.
No signs of movement. Gangrene can't detect anything either with it. Well, actually, his dark vision isn't working because the lantern is illuminating the entire room.
Right.
I'm gonna use Oculus to do detect evil and invis because it has that.
And is anything showing up with the true seeing from the circlet?
No. And Oculus empathically communicates to you that he doesn't detect anything invisible. And evil?
Evil.
No.
Nothing
Define.
So there's that choir altogether, and there's also a set of parchment scraps as well that look to be drafts of letters. It looks like the first draft of the same letter, but it, you know what I mean? Like you can tell it's like the same thing written over and over again, but numerous attempts have been made also. So you have the copies of a letter, the choir, and and then a big drawing of a skeleton.
And
what language? Oh, sorry, the letters, John. What language are those in?
So you take the time to start looking now at stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So everything that you can see, everything that's written on the top of the table, at least, is in Mithric.
I speak Mithric, John.
Cool.
Just before we get disturb any of the dust, John, because you said it was very dusty, I do want to look at the ground and make sure we don't see any giant zombie queen, lich queen footprints or any sort of sign that there's been very recent entry.
No. Yeah, it looks like you are the only ones making footprints here in the dust.
Cool. Thank you.
Can we take some of our folks that maybe are not scholarly and have them go investigate a little bit down that hallway and see if we're anywhere even where we think we might be, or at least keep watch on for us, you know?
I think we should send Gangrene without light and with dark vision to kind of scout out very quietly up there away while we investigate.
That's fine. But then let's also have Sam with like another lantern or a torch or something like 40 feet behind him to give him support.
Sounds good.
And Barrios can go too.
I think that's a good idea, but should we also immediately set out the rug? And it seems like we should start, emptying this place out as soon as possible, because just in case somebody's stoned.
I'll mark the rug in the, just vaguely for strategic reasons, I'm going to put it in the southwestern corner, so it's opposite of the 5-foot hallway. That makes sense. And I'll draw.
John, while they're setting that up, I want to read this letter that's been started numerous times.
But you're sending the retainers up, right?
The retainers are going down the hallway.
Yeah. Okay. So the retainers go down, and they're gone for a little while you guys are kind of checking things out, and they come back, and they tell you that they found what appears to be that doesn't appear to be. They found a door at the end of a 40-foot long passageway, and the door is on the eastern side of the end of the passageway, and it actually has a pair of peepholes at eye level in the door.
Huh.
Was any light coming through them?
There was no light. So we'll say this. I'll just have Gangrene sort of be leading the retainer. So Gangrene tells you that he looked through the peepholes, and he actually did see. Where he was able to see that he was looking down a passageway that ended with a door about 30 feet down. However, directly to his left, like looking through, and then like directly to his left, like he was able to go through, he could see that there was a large door there that had a purple glowing symbol on it. And there was a lot of detritus and trash that was piled up really high around that door, but it looked like it had been recently scattered.
So, John, are you saying like this northern wall right on the other side is where that door is? Sorry, I'm mapping.
Yes, correct. You got it. Yep.
And then is it a 10-foot or a 5-foot passage still? Do you know?
It's a 10-foot actually.
Okay, so vaguely this.
Yeah. And
Okay,
after 30 feet, there was a door on the eastern wall.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Guys, that is lining up. It looks like it's lining up with the hallway above the Library of Thoth.
I think that is the hallway above the Library of Thoth. And the detritus had been... Remind us, John, the detritus that Gerlad was working on clearing at the time that we first found out about it, right? So, like, would we have any concept in seeing that? Well, I guess Mort's not here. Mort would know.
Only the retainers are reporting back what they saw, so you're going to have to guess. I will say that if you're, should you be correct, and it connects there, Ted's placement of the door is incorrect. It should have been on the northern side of the end of the passageway, not the western.
So
yeah, we're essentially looking. Okay,
I get it. Yeah, that door is on the north, and this is like a secret over there.
Yeah, I think this is the secret. This is the actual library, and that's like yeah. I'm gonna. Sorry, Ted. I hope this is right, and I'm not ruining your life.
Don't change it, David, until we can confirm it.
All right, sure.
No. That is correct. The door, it was placed incorrectly by Ted. That door, which exists, is on the northern side of the hallway.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that. One of these.
So basically, when we were in that hallway before, we didn't see this little door because it was kind of buried in the garbage and stuff. But this one lets you peek and see.
The glyph is just a trick. Oh, that's smart.
David, you were brilliant. You were brilliant.
That's correct. That's a good point, Mike. Yeah. So if so far you guys are drawing the correct conclusions. So it is a bit of a thing, though. that there is this peephole door that Gangrene spotted was not spotted by Mort when he was Spider Mort.
Exactly.
The debris was not piled up high enough to block, the evidence of a door on the end of that hallway. Let's put it that way.
This is perfect. I suggest, guys, I think we want someone like maybe Gangrene just stays there and looks at the people while we do everything we want here.
Yeah, that's
maybe. I part of me wants to have them open and go through, but I'm worried that will then reveal the door that they didn't know is there. So I almost want to just leave it closed and not make up.
Yeah, leave it closed.
Okay.
Well, let's get
the stuff out of this library and get.
Yes. Oh my God, I hate.
John, I have a question though, and I'm confused. Spider Mort went through the door that is out into the main corridor from the Library of Thoth. He went through there. He went under that, and the other monkey, I can't remember his name, was basically standing in the corridor that we are looking out into at the peep room, right? He ran between his legs, and then he tried running through the big door with the purple glyph underneath it.
He got rebuffed.
He never made it to the other side and then got rebuffed.
The glyph, the glyph scared him off. Mm-hmm. So guys, one thing I can, Lisbeth can do, she's carrying Avarisos' old sling, so she can cast a silent alarm that only she will hear on that door.
On the peephole door?
So on the peephole door, which will give us a warning if anybody but us comes through that door. So it will have a little bit of a warning to all escape through the rug if somebody starts coming.
I want to be clear too that all the information that you're basing this upon is based upon what the retainers told you. None of the PCs have actually gone up and investigated that door.
All right. Well, we can do that. We can do that, but I would rather not have it be a Mythic speaker, because the Mythic people can be siphoning through scrolls right now, figuring out what are the good ones and what ones aren't. Well,
don't we want to not study it? Don't we want to just empty it out?
Well,
we have the carpet.
Matt, I want to read this letter that's on the table. I want to read this letter that's on the table that's telegraphed for us. It was written many times, but so John, what is that?
Literally everything in the room is interesting. To be clear, I'm just pointing out what was on the table, which is what your eyesight is immediately taken up by, right? Yeah. So it's just there's so much that you should just assume that everything is interesting and worthwhile. So what I'm saying is Matt's reasoning is sound. If you want to do that, if you want to read stuff in private, that's cool. But if you want to take the time to do it here, that's also cool.
We don't have any problems doing it right now, right?
Why don't I think? How about we do this, John? How many books are in this room?
There's a lot. I mean, there's not countless, but there's so many they don't even really name it. Now, if you wanted to take the time to determine what is useful, I would arbitrarily say there a certain amount of time passes and you could take all that shit and transport it.
Okay, let's do this, Mike. While you're reading the stuff that's on the table, which is super useful, we can start looking through the books on the shelf to try to determine things that are useful. Things like looking for things with anything that references tile patterns, for teleportation tile patterns and maps. And
this is what I'm going to say, Lothar. You bend your head over the table. And you're going to, what I'll say is, by the time you are able to suss out, investigate all three of the major works that are on the table, that's 30 minutes. That will allow the rest of the party, especially with Upior's help, to determine what is actually useful to take back. Does that sound fair?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Sounds great.
All right, so why don't we take our last break of the evening, and we'll come back, and it will be Operation Info Dump. It's going to be great.
Hell yeah!
Okay, you'll like it though. It'll be sweet. Okay, we will be right back. Okay, we are back. Bladders empty, beers full. All right, Lothar. So you're looking over the table. Do you want to look at that the drafts of letters first? Does that
right?
Kind of got that vibe. Okay. All right. So there are a set of parchment scraps Clearly, when you look at them, they're the first drafts of letters, most of which were disposed of. But one in particular is not. It is pretty much fully written. However, when you look at the Mithric that is written in there, in handwriting, it was all but the first two sentences are lined out. But you can read everything. It's just that it looks like they rapidly kind of crossed through everything but the first two sentences. Okay? And this is what it says. To Neferet, High Priestess, from Hellas, greetings. Your demand to relocate the contents of the special library to your new residence is impossible to grant. All of that should remind you. I will be party tonight. So at this point, it's all lined out. Okay. I will be party to neither your fantasies nor your self-aggrandizement. If the Lord of Light wishes us to live eternally, he would have granted us this power. To seek eternal life through necromancy is grotesque and a perversion of Thoth's teaching. Furthermore, your new residence with its entrance in the Great Hall is much too public and therefore unsafe. Most of the acolytes cannot learn of the existence of the works which I guard, and to bring them to you would risk too much. You may already have claimed the circlet from the Archon, but you will not steal the heritage of Lord Thoth. Hithra the Paleologue agrees with me. Given this day, April, AEP 1787. All right.
Damn.
Do I feel vindicated?
I knew she was mean.
Baby.
I knew she was a bad guy. I knew it.
So the thing is, so she wanted this stuff so that she could become a lich, but it sounds like she already kind of figured that part out, right? So maybe she doesn't want any of this shit anymore anyway, if that's kind of like what her deal was.
I don't know. I don't think. Well, this is a long detox talk, I think, but I don't think she would still want it from her. If this is occurring after he's already like, well, what I'm not sure. Sorry, totally ate all my words there. What I'm not sure in the messaging of this if it is implied she's in the process of trying to figure out how to lichify, or she already has. If she already has, then there's something valuable here. Still, if she was looking for information on how to do it, per what you're saying, Mike, then it's possible it's less valuable to her. But I suspect that the lot of us will be immortal liches very soon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the other thing I was going to say. Does anyone remember there was the note that was very similar to this in Neferet's tomb that was the balled up scrap of paper? Does anyone have that like handy in front of them? Because
it was just the first part. Yeah.
Yeah, but he actually granted. He was like, we're going to do this. We just haven't figured out how yet. Wasn't that what the...
I thought it was the same. To Nefret, High Priestess of Hell, your demand to relocate is impossible to grant. I think that's verbatim. I think that's the same as what was there before.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
But there was more.
I have.
Yeah, there was
sorry,
more.
Oh, yeah. I do immediately have a thought, gang. I have this scroll, and I believe either Avaricios or Lothar had a clerical version of wording chain of glyphs, and I would like to put it immediately on the other side of that secret door for anyone who comes later.
Okay, the peephole door.
The people door. I think when we're done here, I'm just throwing out there. When we're done here, I think we should, because it is a multiple sacred. The problem is I'm not getting the maximum power out of it because it's level based, or not. But I think it's worth maybe trapping Gerlad or her if she comes in and hurting them. Good.
So what I was going to suggest is like, instead of doing it on this side of the peephole door, do it on the other side of the door that they can actually get through, because then it'll be funnier.
I mean, fair. It just takes time, I think. But, well, okay, I didn't mean to like deter us there. I think first let's get everything out, and then we're going to have to figure out how to get the rug and ourselves out through mundane means, in which case we can do that here and maybe just kill Gerlad while we're at it. But that's amazing. Let's continue with the lore.
Okay, so the letter that Mort ended up reading that he got from the actual true tomb of Neferet, right, had It said to Nephra, glorious priestess from Hellas, humble librarian, greetings. I am working to accommodate your request to transport the contents of the special library to your new residence. Then it says, alas, the flight of so many of our acolytes, the evils of the present age, and my own decrepitude has delayed their transfer. I will seek to fulfill your wishes in good order.
See,
That's after he's been charmed. That's after he's been charmed.
Are these dated? Are they dated, John?
That one is not dated. The one that you're in front of right now is.
We either have like a deception occurring or maybe she manufactured that to get like minions to do the job since he wouldn't and killed them. There's a lot of things that could occur there. I do have shit. What was I going to just say? There's something that occurred to me immediately. Oh, I don't know. Never mind.
Okay, so the choir, a choir is a bound 4 sheets of parchment that have been bound to be 8. If you fold them up, appears to be a diary of sorts, and it's not written out here in the module, but it gives you the basic contents of it. Okay, and the diary is of what appears to be the librarian himself, this man named Hellas, Hellas. Okay, who apparently wrote the many drafts of those letters as well. But it recounts his discovery of a large, priceless chunk of arcanum, which he moved to what he called his quarters near the secret library. And it details his efforts to master it, the arcanum, and his growing frustration and alienation when he could not. And the pages, as you kind of go through the time of his ramblings about experimenting with the arcanum, become increasingly chaotic and raving as the days wind, and his handwriting also becomes more erratic and not lined up.
Arcanum's radioactive, y'all. I'm telling you, it's radioactive. It poisons the brain. Mm-hmm. That may be what the glyph to door is to his quarters, if it's not just like overtly a trap. Sorry, continue, John.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Now, so that's the diary. The large sprawling piece of paper that has his skeleton on it, right? It's a rudimentary but relatively accurate drawing of a human skeleton, kind of laid out in like an anatomy sort of way. You know what I mean? Not in any sort of weird pose or anything like that. However, there is writing on it and some diagrams and things like that. The finger bones and the toe bones, so the phalanges on the skeleton, are circled, and lines are drawn from them, so all 4 of these points, to a central point off to the side on the paper, which depicts a simple ring, just a round ring, but it's obviously like an actual ring that you're supposed to put on the finger, and it's labeled right by that ring, where all 4 points sort of connect to that ring, and it says in Mithric, in very precise handwriting, the ring of Yarnegus Argentius, taken by the Drainer, with a capital D, in this year of 1804 AEP, across the imperial span and beyond the Nataraja. And the Nataraja is spelled Nataraja. And then there's a rough arrow that appears to be in a different ink with a different handwriting than those that wrote that message, that points to the name Yarnegus Argentius, with a rough annotation that says Yagranaz with a question mark.
Which we've heard before.
We have heard that before. Was that one of the prisoners' names? Or was that
I think that's
a troll, one of the trolls?
No.
Is that what the inscription on Isocritus's ring said, John?
Nope. Guys, you're failing me.
Let's look at the share notes.
Does it have a description of the ring? Is the ring drawn accurately?
It looks like a relatively. It looks like a very. Go ahead, David.
It's one of the regalia. It's the bone ring of Yagranaz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I need you to repeat everything you just said, John, so I can think about this again. Okay, so it's finger bones,
toe bones, and toe bones were circled, specifically the phalanges, and they are drawn towards the ring, And then there's some writing there that says the ring of Yarnegus Argentius, taken by the Drainer in this year of 1804 AEP, across the imperial span, which is capitalized, and beyond the Nataraja, also capitalized. And then a different person in different ink has an arrow that points to the name Yarnegus Argentius, and with a question mark says Yagranaz.
Yeah. Okay. So, John, is the imperial span something that we would know as, imperial citizens?
Unfortunately, you don't.
Is that something?
No.
Okay.
Sounds to me
Same
like a
thing
bridge
with
over the chasm.
Yeah.
So not
Same
so.
thing with it.
All of the proper nouns you don't recognize, except for Yarnegus Argentius, and only Upior recognizes that name, and you have to dig really deep into your schooling in the Collegia back in Arcantos for that name, and it was a sorcerer of great power that was known to have resided in Arden Vul at one time.
And again, there's no drawing of this ring.
There's a little drawing of a ring, but it just looks like a plain little ring.
Just a ring. There's not a 10-inch disc on it. I'm so sus of Isocrides having already had a regalia piece because he came from elsewhere and he's a sorcerer.
It's a very simple drawing. It looks like the one ring unmarked. You know what I mean?
No, I got you. Well, I'm still gonna hold that suspicion, though it may be totally unfounded. But something just occurred to me, guys. Again, let's let John keep going. Let's talk to Andy Talks about more. Yeah.
Okay, so those are the three items that were on the table. So by the time that Lothar sort of susses all that out, reads them aloud to everybody, the rest of you guys have basically determined what is worth keeping and taking. There is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books of varying media. And they may not necessarily be media that's worth taking. But there are 2. They're all awesome. Like they're all going to be like very helpful to you, I think. Most of them are anyways. But there's 2 I want to detail for you here in the room first, because you, upon finding them, you probably would have demanded to read further, like right here, because you're like, holy shit, especially after finding this indication of the bone ring of Yagranaz. You find a folio that is written, that has red ink inside. And it is most of it is destroyed, but there is a certain section of it which sparks your interest. We'll say Upior is the one that found it. Is a little quoted passage, and it is written in a very, very precise, strong, heavy hand. And it says, "The tablet is the property of the Archon, and not that of the high priests of Thoth, Set, or Horus. Ensure it remains safely in the hands of the civil authorities, ideally in my praetorion to the west of the chasm floor." And it's signed Marius.
Ooh.
Okay.
You're muted, David.
Cold of Arden level.
Yep.
Yeah.
Floor of the chasm, he said.
Yeah. Well, west of the chasm, right? That might be. That's what I'm saying. Wait.
West of the cavern floor.
Yeah. And I'm saying the Cult of Arden might be. Anyway, real quick, the phalanges, the bone ring. I suspect it's a ring literally made of phalanges, right?
Yeah.
That's
what we
I
think.
didn't put that together, but
The bone ring of
yeah. Just starting out for people slow like me. Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's interesting then. So that's something actually by the Archon, who's basically like, this is mine. Doesn't belong to any of the religious authorities. Don't let them have it, right?
Ensure it remains safely in the hands of the civil authorities. And he calls out, the 3 that he called out were the 3 dominant churches at the time. Set, Horus, and Thoth. The and this is also, just so you're aware, this is the forget what the lettering contains. The fact that this is the actual writing of the great Marius Tricotor is valuable in itself. Like you're actually witnessing. It's like seeing like the Declaration of Independence sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's like a big fucking deal.
And with that in mind, just for the sake of saying it, I think we should all like have a close look at what the handwriting looks like. to familiarize ourselves. Does that make sense, John? So we don't have time to just look at so that in the future we would recognize.
That's kind of what I was getting across. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Would the no, that wasn't it. Wasn't the inscription in Mithric on Nefert's tomb was engraved, not written, correct?
Yes.
Nefert. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay,
right.
and then the other thing that's
how awesome would it be if Marius's handwriting actually had little hearts over the eyes and like smiley faces in the O's?
Yeah, exactly. Super cute. Yeah.
Well, we definitely have to look at the deeds of Marius Tricotor again, and when we have a chance. But okay, keep going, John.
Cool.
Sorry.
And then the other thing that kind of strikes your interest that you feel the need to you must read it before you disappear is a long rolled up scroll, like a very thick scroll that has a scrap of parchment separate from the scroll that's been attached to it. Okay, that's much thinner, and the scrap. So so it's like rolled up with like a binding rope around it or something like that, and it has like this little piece of parchment that's sort of been slipped in over top. Do you know what I mean? So you pull out that piece of parchment and you open that up first before you open up the scroll, and the scrap of parchment says, "I found access." This is still in Mithric. I found access south of Cassandra Rubea, atop the Archon's submerged tombs. Look for the passage south, but beware. Archons is plural, by the way. Okay,
that's talking about the statue with the pool that we went up her nose.
So the Upior again, as the most educated here.
Well, thank you, John. Oh, you said Upior, not David. Sorry.
You recognize the name Cassandra Rubea as the Archon that was prior to Marius Tricotor, but she was long overshadowed because of the deeds of her successor, basically, right? So she was an Archon, but she was the Archon right before Marius Tricotor, so she's sort of been forgotten by history. So I found access south of Cassandra Rubea, atop the Archon's submerged tombs. Look for the passage south, but beware. Right, and this is hastily written, like not in any sort of official capacity. Then when you unscroll the actual scroll, this big long scroll, expecting to see like writing or something like that, and you actually see that as you unfurl it, that it's actually a rubbing that's like really, really long, like feet long, like a big, like a rubbing off of like a frieze or a pediment or something like that, right? And it says so it's it was obviously taken from somewhere else. You understand, like it was rubbed off of something, right? And whatever it was, the original structure or frieze or whatever said the following in Mithric: "Here lie the mortal remains of Cantilian the Magnificent, the Lifebringer and Death Dealer, the Spear Wielder and the Water Tamer. Know, O thieves, that her mind and powers still defend her and her treasures."
Wow.
Okay.
So the giant turtle was radiated by huge stores of Arcantum and became enormous. That's my read on that. That's my read on that. And there's a shit ton down there in the submerged tomb. Wow, this is interesting. I feel like we've heard her name again. Would you spell it again, John?
You haven't heard her name before. It's new. Cassandra Rubea. Oh wait, from the rubbing.
Here lie the mortal remains.
The tomb. You haven't heard that either. Here lie the immortal remains of Cantilian the Magnificent. Cantilian is Kentillian, the Lifebringer and Death Dealer, and then the Spear Wielder and the Water Tamer. Spear Wielder is capitalized. Know, O thieves, that her mind and powers still defend her and her treasures.
So she still has the ebon spear.
But didn't Marius Tricotor have all of the regalia?
At one point.
Not anymore. Yeah.
No, but this person was the Archon before him?
This is another person. The scroll is a rubbing of a tomb that describes it. So I think of I don't know. My memory's awful, as everyone knows, but my guess is Marius all the artifacts from him went to disciples, essentially, right? Like to other people, right? Clearly, the circlet did. Bone ring was stolen, so not to someone who was trusted. Ebon spear was given to the water tamer, and the tablet we just learned about was I can't remember, held in like the like public vaults or whatever, which might be the Cult of Arden level. Okay, there's a lot to think about.
Yeah,
y'all. This is really fucking interesting, and
all right, so
the explicit nature of it. Sorry, go ahead, John.
I'm going to give you the titles of the other things that you find. Okay, so have these written down. We can go over the details, possibly now if you want, or depending on what you want to do. So the first thing is a codex, and it is called the Ancient Ones. That immediately strikes your interest. The next one, I'm looking these up because I don't know the form factor, but I think it's kind of cool. The other one is also a codex. This is a Canticle of Arcane Knowledge. Then we have, oh yeah, you immediately grabbed this one when you saw it. You're like, oh yeah, baby, give it to me. Another codex. This one's called A Complete Decoding of the Old One's Glyphs.
Ooh.
What? All right.
Then we have, this is it's a single choir, so it's another little small choir, but is labeled as the Deeds of Tarmis, and Tarmis is spelled Ptarmis. All right.
Have we ever heard of? Would we ever have heard of Tarmis?
Unfortunately, not. Don't know that one.
Okay.
Guys, wasn't there a door of glyphs on in the melted caves or the wet caves or whatever they were that we thought was like a hopper door, and somebody like figured out how to open it and they went through and then they were like horribly killed.
A dwarf.
And Killick was like, "Don't open that." Like, now we have the door. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I'm with you. Yeah.
Okay, so then there is another one. This one is a codex. This is Divine Power is a Manifestation of Collective Will. Strikes your interest because you can immediately tell by the title that it is some sort of radical theological text. That is probably a heresy. Let's see. That one is a codex. This is the first history of the Order of Thoth in Arden Vul. And
fucking jackpot, yo.
Oh yeah, there's some good shit here. This is what? A codex that has blue horsehide bindings. This is Great Villains of Arkantos, Part 5. Priscus the Traitor.
Ooh.
And what does this guy look like? Actually, I'll check this one first because the last one's got a little bit tricky. So the last one you find is a codex as well. This is something that you've been long looking for in your adventures, especially in Plunger Town. You actually find a deluxe, beautiful book, really thick, and this is the Litany of Light. This has all of the entire litany that you were assuming was needed to know to go to the different stations around the Well of Light. So it's sacred Thothian text, basically. And
we've wanted that for so long. Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
This is fascinating because it's bridging so many different moments in the campaign. It's like it's coagulating. I'm like, oh yeah, that.
Okay, so the last one, I'm not going to say you yoink right away, but I am going to say that it draws your eye because it's such a strange looking work. The volume you're looking at is thick. It's about 6 inches thick, and it's bound in blue leather. And there is a gold lidless eye that is stamped on the leather cover itself. And what draws your eyes before opening it up is you can see that the folios that are inside of it are actually crystalline. They're thin crystal.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's a very
vellum paper almost. What do you mean by crystal? Sorry.
Like literally like made out of crystal, like very thin crystal. It's kind of hard to countenance. It's very, very weird. Obviously, very, very rare.
They're not flexible at all, then, right? They're like stiff.
Well, they appear to be stiff. You have not opened up the book. I'm just saying it really draws your eye because it's like very, very strange and exotic looking. There's no title on the book.
Perhaps we should transport everything else out. There's been a little bit of a telegraph. You haven't opened it yet. That may not be a bad thing, but maybe we do everything and then take a peek at this one last before touching it. Do you want to do that?
I think that's smart. Yep.
And one question, John. Sorry to interrupt, David. In all of our looking through this library, I know that one of the things, Wolford, not knowing Mithric, not knowing much, but knowing the value of these tiles, would, if he was looking for that specifically, was he out of luck? No books where there seemed to be like tile formulas for locations or anything like that, or might they be buried?
It's actually really weird that you brought that up, Matt, because that is literally the last thing that I forgot to mention, which is rather weird, actually. So there is the last thing that you end up yoinking, actually, are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Okay. There are a bunch of spell scrolls. Okay, in that are, some are clerical spells, some are magic user spells, and one of them, though, one of the scrolls that's sort of in the midst of all these other ones, actually has written the sequence of colors and a number of them.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have, let's see, all three of them. We're not going to bother giving you the sequence because it doesn't really matter. But all three of the sequences are ones that you do not have already. They're different configurations.
Yes.
Okay.
Jackpot.
The spells between Lothar and Upior, you see that the clerical spells there is one spell on each scroll, just so you're aware. There's Purify Food and Drink, Sanctuary, Augury, Spiritual Weapon, Animate Dead, Dispel Magic, Remove Curse, Neutralize Poison, Speak with Plants, Cure Critical Wounds, and Raise Dead. The magic user scrolls include Ventriloquism, Rope Trick, Lightning Bolt, Remove Curse, Stone Shape, and Monster Summoning Foe.
Okay. Ventriloquism. 1 second. Ventriloquism, Rope Trick, Lightning Bolt.
Remove Curse.
Remove Curse.
Stone Shape, and Monster Summoning 4.
Monster Summoning 4. I love that. All right.
Okay.
Is there, if we have kind of collectively, well, never mind. Detox.
So so that strange book that you haven't opened, I should say, like the crystalline sheets, each of them appears to be about a 1/4 inch thick. Okay.
Wow.
So what do you do with all that stuff?
All right.
Well, the rug's
we
down.
got to start. Yeah, we got to start shuffling it back.
Let's take everything excepting the not the crystalline one yet. Let's leave that there. Let's take everything else back to the stash.
Okay, so you transport on the rug back to the stash in the pyramid room. Nothing untoward happens. Everything's there.
Okay. We come back. I'm throwing the scrolls for magic users in my scroll case, obviously. But So all that remains in the room is this crystalline book, us standing watch, and mundane items. Do we want to do a really deep investigation for any other secrets? I guess you were wearing the circlet, you would see a secret door, but maybe a lever or something like that worth looking for that might not ping. Go ahead.
Again, you guys are.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You've been confining yourselves to just the square room right now. You have not gone up and investigated what your retainers did.
Okay.
John, I'm sorry. What page is this? Was this scroll found on?
Good question. Every single item here was found on page 147.
147. And I'm sorry. Can you just real quick give me the names of the spells on the clerical scroll thing again?
Purify food and drink, sanctuary, augury, spiritual weapon, animate dead, dispel magic, remove curse, neutralize poison, speak with plants, cure critical wounds, and raise dead.
Oh, I still only got half of that, but cool. Cure critical wounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll have to ask you those again later. Okay. Guys, how are we going to get out of here now?
Well, why don't we start examining that hallway leading to the north?
Yeah.
Mike, do you want to peek with your fancy mask?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you march up to the hallway.
Yep.
Okay, so as you do so with your lantern, you immediately spy the door that they were talking about. You can see the two little peepholes. But Lothar, as you sort of make your way up there as well, wearing the iron circlet of Gonor, you can detect that there is a secret door on the north end of that hallway.
Okay. Let's investigate that secret door.
David, you're muted, by the way.
Yeah.
That's going to be the other way into his quarters without the glyph trap, is my guess.
Probably.
But
Guys,
Let's
remember
investigate.
also, I'm sorry, Mike, we should investigate. Just remember the guy who wrote the notes was investigating the Arcanum, went insane, and so there may be some kind of horrible, insane, undead, monstery guy in his quarters waiting to kill us. But go ahead, Mike.
Okay. John, let's we're going to take a turn to look at the door to see if there's any holes, to see if the lock looks weird, to see if there's any like catches in the ceiling, or any kind of like.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point because, as I said last session, the iron circlet only detects the presence of a secret door, but it doesn't
open it.
Yeah, like what the mechanism is. So taking a turn to do it, you can confirm that that the way to open it is actually that you find a very, very small hole in the wall, and it looks like you need to insert almost like in modern day, like a little paper clip in there, like resetting your phone, right? Like a little,
Gotcha.
weep, like a little narrow little thing into that hole.
And then it goes without saying, John, that while we're doing this investigation, someone's covering the peepholes so that no one coming into that room will see light streaming through them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Matt,
we'll
you
further
pull a paper clip out?
Yeah, he's going to take a couple of things out. He's going to reach in there and grab some, just some putty to squish the putty over the peepholes, so that, like you were saying, the light can't go out.
Okay.
And then two things. Yeah, he'll pull out just like a thin, straight piece of wire, like a really thin nail that would be the right diameter to go in there. He's suspicious, though, of the shape of this hallway. If there were some kind of like a lightning bolt or anything that could go straight down, if we were all in that passageway, it could just fry all of us. So I think that, keeping some caution in mind, some of us at least should be back around the that corner so that we're not all in a dead man's line there.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
I'll go back and hide the library, John.
Great idea. I'll be back here. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I hate to say it, but Upior will too. No AC.
No.
Okay,
Sam,
so
I
Wolford,
think you should be on the front.
Wolford and the retainers then. Wolford, it's all you. What do you do?
Okay. So if, with the eye on the little hole, he's going to poke the little hole, the wire into the little hole.
Okay. When you poke into the hole, the door springs open like on some sort of like spring-loaded mechanism, and it's a very narrow, like just narrow enough, just wide enough for like a human to kind of fit through if they kind of sidle through, and it reveals as it springs open that there is a chamber beyond that. At the far end of it, about 30 feet away, is lit dimly by something that is. Let's see. Let me actually make sure I get this right. Yes, there is something orange and pulsing at the far end of the room that is giving the room a little bit of ambient light. You're walking in, and you are entering into, or you're looking into. I won't assume that you're walking in another square chamber that is exactly the same dimensions as the secret library, 30 by 30. You are entering in on the southwestern side of the south wall. Okay. In the middle of the north wall, there is a pedestal about waist high, and atop that pedestal, placed in a place of honor, it appears, is a 1 foot diameter orb of softly glowing arcanum. Okay. But there's more. There's more.
Of course.
The room itself is layered in centuries of dust, and against the west wall, so right in front of you, basically, is an archaic bed. And on that bed is a desiccated corpse.
Oh, no.
Yeah. On the east wall, there are 2 collapsed bookshelves and a decrepit desk. Okay. What else? There is a large door directly to your right, which you kind of assume would be there along the southern wall. And yes, the desk appears to have numerous items on it, numerous books and writings and things like that. The corpse on the bed is dressed in robes, and there is a jade amulet that is draped across his neck and on his chest. Okay.
Which wall is the bed on again? The
western.
Okay.
So it's not far. When you open the door, that corpse is like what, 10 feet away?
Yeah, about 10 feet away. Yeah.
Okay.
John, when we don't hear squeals and screams and explosions, we'll come back down the hallway.
Okay. So we have about 3 minutes left in the session. What would you like to do here?
Does the corpse seem to react when the door opens?
It does not. No.
Okay.
And it looks to be so old and so desiccated that there's not even like really a bad smell. It's just like extreme mustiness and dust. You know what I mean?
Okay. Is anything painting with the true seeing, John, as far as like magical shit?
Yes. So the body is enchanted. The arcanum almost blinds you. It's so enchanted. The amulet that he's wearing is enchanted, and there appears to be. Yeah, there on the desk there appears to be 6 scrolls, and the writing on those scrolls appear to be enchanted.
Jesus.
I don't think it's Jesus.
No, but I'm worried that when we touch this guy, he's going to sit up and be like, "Get out."
I mean, I think
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think we should wait till next session to do any like prodding because we're right at the end. I've never said that before in my life. Well, maybe whatever. I run up and touch him. No, hold on.
Most importantly, we need Ted here so that he'll run up and touch it.
Okay.
I
So
tell you what, while we're still in that doorway, we can still shove it or shut it if we need to. What was the guy's name? Hellas. Wolford was just called out. Hellas, is that you?
silence. Silence greets your plea.
Yeah,
It's not him. I think we're good.
I'll walk up. I'll walk up and reverently, not like rudely, kind of like kneel. Upior will kneel on one knee and see. Having read, I think the context of which, okay, I'm going to do a couple things. A couple pieces of context. We read his opinion of the cycle of life and death and honoring it, and basically purely by coincidence, I'll do a callback to Neferet's tomb. What I wrote under her inscription about, her power was oblivion honors no gods or heroes. We are, the lot of us, equal to time. And so having read his refusal of Neferet, Upior, a necromancer, quote unquote, right? But kind of respects this person, kneels down and sort of puts his hand on the skeletal hand and says, "You rest well, friend. Thank you." Does anything happen?
Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Here we go.
Yep.
Why is the body enchanted though?
It's going to do stuff to us when we get the stuff.
No, the answer is right there. He's radiated. The Arcanum is radiating these people. It's enchanted because he went crazy from exposure, just like the turtle is giant because the turtle, on the Chernobyl site goes big, right? Like the over, like an excess of ore use, right? Am I like, shit, every time do we use an Arcanum? It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Yeah, this is
amazing.
This is by far the largest piece of Arcanum you've ever seen. And it obviously this is what he's referring to from his diary. There is more writings on the table. You have not, you've just stepped into the room and approached the body, so you haven't actually gone over to the desk yet, but we'll save that for next time. The actual investigation of this room. And we'll have to find some other time for explanation of what's in all of those books that you found. But I might have to wait until you actually get back to read them.
Assuming we do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll leave it there. Awesome job, guys. You have found the Secret Library of Thoth, and jumped right to it. So great use of your teleportation abilities once again. All right. Thanks, guys. That was awesome. You guys have been watching and are listening to 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play on the internet. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as always. Subscribe to our Patreon for some extra goodies in our Discord channel. And do join that Discord channel. It is free for everybody to join. We have lots of interesting conversation at all hours of the day and night. And thank you, as always, to all of our Patreon members. You help us keep the wheels keep turning. Our explorers, our delvers, and especially our conquerors. Take it away, Mike, with that list.
Before I do the list, I do want to just ask if I can dedicate episode 81 to my son's frog who died during the first break of tonight's session.
Unbelievable.
Freddie Frog was a fantastic African dwarf frog, and he lived for 3 years, which I think is pretty long. And
pretty darn good for a frog.
All right, man, you hang out with Darius. And our conquerors are, the newest one is Saps. And then we have Papa Bear, Zach Shiflett, Familia Mirando, Mercury 605, Ruben D. Collar, Dave Rosser Jr., Andrew, Hannes Bernkammerer, Dakota Nielsen, Cam, Stephen Queensberry, Brad and Aiden, the Logan family, Kabrowskis, Declan Konevsky, Chad Cartier, Magic Meat Machine, Tom Leary, Phil, G Tokyo Time, Terry Barney, Eric Larson, Mando NZ, Faisal, James Doig, Nefarious Gamer, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, MM, Michael Schilling, Stefano Di Maiolo, the Hex Brawler Twins, Summon Toast, Adam the DM, Scott Yearsley, Mech Jack, Kick Maniac, Dire Guru, Tom Eric Gerritsen, not Matt but not least, Matt Mason, Matt Gardner, Matt Koenig, and Matt Young.
Go Mats.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your continued support. It really does mean a lot. We will see you next week, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Take care.
See you. Bye. Thanks, John.